Hi everybody, quick Nuke tip that I learnt at work. If you want to rotor something very quickly, say a car or stationary building or something, something that isn't people, a quick tip is if you've got your camera tracked, like so, if I just do that, yeah, I've got my camera tracked, okay, go back to that. Quick tip, if you want to know the position of something in 3D space but you can't, if you don't have any markers from matchmoved, a good tip is to use points to 3D. You go to the start of your footage, you grab point A, say we want to roto this, you set a point reference, you go to the end of your timeline or anywhere where you still see that object, and then go to the middle and set point B. It doesn't have to be exact, it can be rough. So you set all 3 points, you go calculate, and it's whatever frame range you've got. Press calculate, it goes through it. It's pretty quick. If your camera track's solid, it will do it really quick. Just give that a second, there we go. Now it generates a 2D point and a 3D point, and the 3D point, as you can tell, is that dot over there. And a good way to get it is if you click generate axes, grab that. Now you can put this in your 3D scene. If you go scanline, yeah, so you can, quick tip, full stop is dots. You connect that with Y. Just hide that so I don't see that path. You can either delete that or disable it. Just delete it for now. So you've got this axes, sorry. Grab a card. Now if you control click, you get a option box, and if you control click on that, well, if you just click on that, you get this. If this is animated, which in this case you don't need it animated, but if it is, you can go control drag and it will send the animation, or if you can go control shift, put that there, and it will give the 3D points on the card. Now if you connect that, grab a project 3D. Now what this is going to do essentially is stabilize the plate. It's going to stabilize the plate around wherever you put your card. Control H on any node is to hide the input. It's pretty useful if you've got a big script and you just want to connect things really easily. So yeah, this is essentially projecting onto a card. Now this card, if I go into my 3D view, you can see it's the wrong way. It's still projecting, but it's the wrong way. So if I just rotate it like so. Normally I keep these rows and columns to 1 because it's just my workflow in a way. Now the thing with the scan line, you want to change it to UV, okay? You won't see much happen here, but if you go into this view, well, your main view, just bring this down a little bit, and if you scale it up, well, scale it down, sorry. Oh, no, I just forgot how to do this. No, there we go. Reformat. You don't have to do this, but it does help. If you go in the reformat, go to scale and put it to 2. Essentially what it's going to do is double the size of your image, so if it wasn't that, that's the resolution of my image. Now I've got that. Essentially it just gives you a little bit more pixels to work with, and normally I put it on blank size 4, that. Generally works really well. Yeah, so now if you scrub through, you're stabilized on that point, or should be, yeah, stabilized on that point. If we wanted to put it on the car here, just grab another points to 3D, put that in your image, do that, put A over there, set it, go all the way to the end or wherever you still see the point, set it, go to the middle, point B, calculate, do the whole timeline. It'll go through and do it, as you can see. Just give that a second. There we go. Generate axis. Now I just want to replace whatever's in this one, so Control Shift, put it in there. See, now we've got the car on that plane in 3D space. If I delete that and delete that, yeah, so now we've got that. And if you scale this up, you can get closer to the image or further away. Now it's stabilized to that point, so you can see the perspective shift. If I scrub through like that, you can see the perspective shift. So this is really helpful if you want to roto quite a lot quick. So all you do is put a roto underneath, no clip. Let's go to the first frame. I'm only going to do a couple of frames here, but if you just draw your roto like so, let's just do this for now. Yeah. Okay, so you've got your roto, just feather it out a bit. Now all you do is scrub through, and it's a lot quicker because you know where it is in 3D space. Go to there. See, because it's a big perspective shift, you will see the warping. So you will have to change it, but it does speed up the workflow pretty quickly, especially if you need to do shots quickly. I do this pretty much every day if I need to roto. So to move this anchor point, just press Control, move it there, like so. If you do that like so, I'm not going to do it exact, but you can see if I scrub through like this, it goes with it. Now the problem is we've scaled this up to double the resolution, so now what we have to do is reverse this. So you take your roto, you can either shuffle it out as alpha, just to make sure that you've got it. You grab that same reformat with, remember, the double scale. Grab that same reformat, plug that into the roto so it's the same scale as what we used in the scanline. Grab your card. You can either Control K, can't remember the shortcut, but if you just grab that card, now you've got, if I go to my 3D view, now you've got the roto on a card in 3D space. If you connect your scan line, keep it at render camera, or you can go perspective, I believe. It's pretty much the same. Connect that to the camera just over there, hide that input. Now what you've got is, if I put a copy onto my plate, if you want to swap inputs, Shift X will do that. Now if you press M in your viewer, it will give you the matte, as you can see, matte overlay. Now we have just done that roto with that camera move, which would have taken a lot longer to do if we didn't, because of the way this camera move is. But this can be done to edges of buildings or anything like these, like side of the road, anything that's not a organic thing, like an animal or people or plants. It really does help quite a lot. So yeah, that's the setup. So go through it again. if you don't have matchmoved points, you can just use a points to 3D, put in your points on the timeline, project 3D through your camera, change the scan line to UV, do your roto on top of that. I'll just press M again, do your scan line on top of that, and then to reverse it you grab that same reformat, plug it into the roto so it's the same resolution. So if we look, it'll be the same resolution. If I didn't do that, yeah, you can see it's just keeping everything organized. Shuffle out the alpha. You can either do it that way, or in your actual alpha you can just go RGBA and it'll do exactly the same. Put that back on the card, put it through the scan line. If you look through your camera, you can see it moves exactly with it. If you do that again, shift the inputs, M. Yeah, so that is a quick tip on how to do foster roto.